All right, so in this video, we will look at grab interactables. So that means things we can grab in the VR space. And we will do a bit of a test as well. So the first thing I'd like to do here is let's add some visuals to the left and right controller right now. And in one of our previous videos, we added spheres. In this one here, we're just going to add these controllers, which we have as prefabs within the XR Interaction Toolkit that we downloaded. So going to XR Interaction Toolkit 2.5.2 starter assets, prefabs, controllers, and then let's add the XR controller left to the left controller, and then XR controller right to the right controller. So it gives us a visual of, holding something. So the next thing we are going to do is um, add a component to both left and the right hand. So let's select both, and we're gonna go all the way down, and we will add a component, and we will call this XR Direct Interactor. So it says XR Array Interactor is already added to the game object, can only contain one. So why don't we go ahead and disable all of these? Line renderer, XR Array Interactor. Let's disable all of this. So let's come back here, and we're going to go into Direct Interactor again. Oh, it wants us to delete XR Array Interactor. So let's just go ahead and do that. XR Array Interactor, remove component completely. I'm actually going to go ahead and remove a bunch of these components. So I want to also remove sorting group, XR interactive line visual, line renderer. Let's remove this. And now we will add XR direct interactor. Success. So this will allow us to interact with an object that will be in a zone close to our hands. So let's add a sphere collider to the hands as a component. So the X controller left, let's add sphere collider, and then we will change this radius. You can see how it's so big. Let's change the radius to maybe 0.1. It's still kind of big, so maybe 0.05. Yeah, let's go with that. And then we will do the same thing to the XR right controller, sphere collider, 0.05. So left and right both have sphere colliders. So what this is doing is basically adding a physics object to our controllers. Means within this vicinity, within the sphere collider, we will be able to grab items. And then let's select is trigger. This collider is used for triggering events and is ignored by the physics engine. Yeah, so this is going to trigger the grabbing events that we have. So let's enable it for both. And then let's add a cube, for example. So we will make the cube go to 0, 0, 0. Let's press Control and Shift, place it on top, and let's give it a bit of a stretch so we can place things on it. And then I'm also going to reduce the height just a bit. Let's go back to Move, and then place it again right on top here. And then let's go ahead and create more cubes. So we're going to create a 3D object cube. Let's place it on top here. Let's scale it down quite a bit, so it'll be easy to grab and throw around. And then let's give this a different color. So let's go into our assets folder. We can go into materials. Let's create new material. We're going to call this cube. Let's make it red. Let's drag and drop it on top of this guy. Let's make the plane black. I already have this black material. And then why not Control D to cube. Cube 1, let's make this green. Drop this on top of this plinth. So let's select this, this little cube. We're going to give it a rigid body component. And this is where we already talked about a few different, properties, but we're going to leave this as default for now. And then let's add a new component here and call this XR Grab Interactable. So within this XR Grab Interactable, there's different movement types. So there's instantaneous, there's velocity tracking, there's kinematic. So these are all things that you should play with. And these will be changed. Around in. Okay, so let's make a few copies of this cube. Put one here. Put another one here. Let's go ahead and make copies of the material as well. So Control D for copies. So cube 2, for example, we could make this blue. Let's drop it on one of the these smaller cubes. Cube 3, we could make it purple, whatever color you like. Let's drop it on there. So cube 1, let's actually make this, keep it all default. Cube 2, we will turn this to kinematic. Cube 3, we will turn this to velocity tracking. Just so we can see the differences between all of them. And then let's make one more cube. And let's add another material. Let's make this one maybe a bit more muted. And then we will make this one, leave it all default, so instantaneous, but let's make this one kinematic. And then, yeah, let's have it use gravity. And then we can see what happens. So at this stage, we are ready to test this. So in Unity, let's go ahead and select all of these cubes and let's move it much, much closer to these handles. There we go, and then we'll move the cubes closer as well. So we'll grab them. So we actually have to make a small change. Instead of the left controller and right controller getting the XR Direct Interactor, we're going to remove it from here. We're going to remove it from the right as well, and we will go into XR controller left and right. And here we will add XR Direct Interactor. We already have our sphere collider added. And the reason for that is that it's actually within the object that we need to add the sphere collider and the XR Direct Interactor. So let's go ahead and try this one more time. All right, let's go ahead, put back our headset. So let's go into Quest Link, launch. And as soon as the Rift menu loads, press play in Unity. So now let's grab it with the left or the trigger. Not the front trigger, but the side trigger. So this one is kinematic. So you can see how I'm tossing it, but it kind of just freezes in the air. This one here has a bit of movement. This one here, you can see like it drags a little bit more. And then this one here is just typical. but this one here just is dragging. So let's go ahead and see one more time which one is which. So the one that moved normally was everything's just typical and instantaneous. This one here is kinematic, so it has a bit more of a drag on it. This one was velocity tracking. I think this one was a bit more realistic. And then this one here was the kinematic. So we're throwing it, and like we talked, it just kind of freezes in the air. So that's it for Grab Interactables. Make sure that your XR Direct Interactor and Sphere Collider is actually on the controllers themselves, like the prefabs that we used, and not on the left controller and right controller. Thank you.